what's up you guys? Welcome to my channel. My name is Kylie if you're new, and today, oh yes! Today will be my first ever Q&A, and I am really excited to do this because I just recently hit 2,000 subscribers, as you can see. I thought this would be a good special little fun video that we could do so you guys could get to know me a little bit better, so let's just get right into it. Because I got 53 comments on that post that I put up on my community tab, so hopefully we have quite a lot of questions to go over today. So Ethan wants to know, oh thank you by the way, nice note. He wants to know, since I'm a big Scream fan, what are your thoughts on Scream 3? So I actually am going to do a Scream series at some point in the future. I don't want to give everything away just yet. I remember really liking Scream 3. I thought that it was a worthy installment to the franchise, but I mean obviously I have to rewatch it and see how I feel now. I don't really get the hate with that movie, but I guess we'll see when I give it a rewatch. Jim wanted to know, so there is writing, directing, lighting, cameras, acting, breaking down and critiquing a film, all things I'm knowledgeable and passionate about, that is facts. The way I communicate that as a talent. Oh, you guys are so nice, thank you. With all that potential going on, thank you. Oh my gosh. I'm wondering what part of the film industry you're most passionate about. What is the dream career? I can see you being super successful in any... You're too kind. Okay, my dream job is to be a director. I want to write scripts and then direct them because I just feel, I don't know if I'm like a control freak or something, but when I write a script, I have a very specific vision for it, and I feel like I might have a hard time handing that off to somebody else. I think I would do just fine directing somebody else's script. I have very clear images in my head about the things that I want, and I have actually written and directed 2 short films in the past, of course just working with other students, but I feel, and I think that they could probably attest to this, that I'm really good at communicating kind of what I want. You know, if I haven't proven anything else with my YouTube channel, I think I've proven that I'm pretty good at being clear about, you know, expressing what I like, what I don't like, what looks good. So my dream is to be a director. That is like the ultimate dream. I'm really not great at the technical stuff. The only thing technical wise that I might want to pursue is like cinematography. So I think that's my final answer. I also dream of doing YouTube. I hope I can do this for a long time and kind of make a living doing this, because another dream of mine is to like travel the world, be able to work remotely, just basically live a free life and do whatever the hell I want to do. That's actually like the ultimate dream, but career-wise, I definitely want to be a director someday. Oh my gosh, crazy. What if that happens and then I watch this old video someday and I'm like, oh my god. Alright, so moving on. Sergio A complimented the way that I critique movies based on like my feminist views and things like that, so thank you. But he wanted to know, if you had to choose the best horror movie of all time and the worst ones, which would you choose and why? Best horror movie of all time... I think the best horror movie of all time would probably be Halloween from 1978. That might be a really basic answer. I just don't think that a horror movie has been able to do so much while doing so little. Like, it was a low budget and extremely simple film, but then for what it spawned, for the way that it captivated audiences, for the way that it broke records in the box office, I want to say that's probably the best horror movie of all time. I feel very similarly about Jaws as well. I don't think another movie has done it like Jaws. So now that I say that, I'm a little bit torn between those two. I think I'm sticking with Halloween though. Worst horror movie of all time, that is a little bit difficult because there are a lot of really just absolute turds of horror movies out there. I guess the worst one that I've ever seen might be Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I don't really feel informed enough to say what is truly the worst horror movie, but I'm just gonna go with that one. Andrew said, congrats Kylie, and he mentioned that I'm a film student. Yes. What made me want to get into that field? So I've talked about my passion for film and stuff, and kind of the way that I was introduced to the world of horror movies and just classic films and stuff like that. It was because of my grandfather. He's really into horror sci-fi movies from like the 50s and alien movies, and he really welcomed me into this world. I talk about that more in the video that I made that's called, what was it called? Horror movies I have a soul connection with, or something like that. If you want to hear my more in-depth answer on that, I recommend watching that video. I can link that down below if I remember to. Please correct me if I mispronounce this because I don't want to mispronounce anybody's names, but Shaim asked me in a 3-part question, when is my birthday? It is July 6th. Was born in 99, baby. Still classified as a 90s baby. Also obviously a summertime baby, and I was born at night. I was ready to party straight out the womb. Second question, if you had a few outrageously exciting ways to spend your birthday in Vegas, how would you spend it? I don't know if I would ever spend a birthday in Vegas, honestly. But if I was in Vegas for my birthday, what would I want to do? I feel like I would want to have like a penthouse party or something like that. Not into gambling. I don't think I'd really want to chill like down in the casino. I feel like I would just want to have all of my friends up in the penthouse, maybe get a couple of strippers. Ooh, I don't know. I think that would be really fun. But to be honest, yeah, I don't dream of a Vegas getaway. It's not really the city for me. And their final question, which top 5 celebrities would you invite to celebrate your massive birthday party with in Las Vegas? That is such a hard question. Oh my gosh. Okay, one, Miley Cyrus, because like obviously, right? That's one. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Oh, you put me on the spot here. I should have prepared for this. I think Dylan O'Brien, because his Twitter is just amazing. He's hilarious and he's very anti-Trump, so he is just absolutely my cup of tea. And maybe because it was my birthday, he would give me a little kiss or something. Definitely Jennifer Lawrence. She's very weird. I feel like she would be so much fun at a party. I think I'd probably want to invite Tommy Chong so we could partake in a little, you know, that's kind of, you know, an ultimate dream of mine. Have I already said 5 or is that only 4? I don't know. My 5th one, I think I still have one more, would be Daniel Radcliffe because he is also hilarious. Also short king, Harry Potter icon. Just, I don't even know what I would do if I ever met him. Like, not even just because he's Harry Potter, but because he's had all these crazy oddball roles and he takes these like low budget, insane jobs just because like he can. He's already made all the money he needs. And now he helps like smaller indie names with their projects because like obviously if his name is stamped onto something, more people are gonna watch it. So I just love him and what he does. If you haven't seen the episode of Hot Ones yet on First We Feast with him, they just released that like last week. It was so good. Now that I think of it, actually, oh my gosh, I think I might want to change Tommy Chong for Florence Pugh because I also feel like she would be really fun. And like, no offense to Tommy Chong, but he's like kind of old and I kind of want younger people to like party with. I saw her speak at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival and she's amazing. She's hilarious. Would love to have her around for my birthday. Okay, that was a long one. Moving on. Dolby666 asked, are you a fan of absolutely ridiculously cheesy films? Films that are dated at this point, like 50s through the 90s. I hope you're well in these strange times. I hope you're doing well too. It really depends. I kind of prefer the more early 2000s cheesiness rather than old movie cheesiness because oftentimes with older films, if they're not that well made, like if they weren't, you know, mainstream films, they tend to also kind of be just not that well paced, overall not well made, and it's kind of like, I don't know, it's distracting in a way, and so I don't really enjoy the cheesiness as much. I just kind of view it more as like a fault of the movie. I'm trying to think of anything. Nothing's coming to mind. I mean, well, okay, obviously there are quite a lot of slasher movies that I like and those inherently tend to be a little bit more cheesy. So I guess the answer is yes, because there are also like other cheesy movies that I enjoy. Not super specifically from that time period though, I guess. Jennifer Vega, my friend, by the way, she also has a channel where she talks about movies. She asked, what's a movie you hated the first time you watched but upon rewatch loved? Actually, just recently, I remember I told you guys during my review of Bride of Chucky, that was my second time watching the movie because the first time that I watched it, I was kind of bored by it. And then the second time around, I loved it. I was obsessed. But I'm trying to think of one that I actually like hated and then I watched it again and then I liked it. Oh, one movie actually that I think is kind of underrated is A Cure for Wellness. The ending of it is totally disturbing, kind of ruins it. It's disgusting. But the movie as a whole, like itself as an art form, I think it's incredible. It's directed by Gore Verbinski, who also directed The Ring. The first time that I watched it, I was so disturbed. I thought it was terrible. I was like, that was the worst movie I've ever seen, just because of like how upsetting it was to me. And then I decided to watch it again and I was like, you know what? This is a really well-made film. So I'll go with that one. Peter asked me, are you going to review the Rob Zombie trilogy, House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, and Three from Hell? And congrats, thank you. I have thought about that just because his movies are typically really good for me to react to. They stir me up quite a bit. So I think eventually at some point I might explore Rob Zombie a little bit. I'm not really a fan of his though, but it does make for really good content on my channel. So I want to give that a soft yes. I think that will happen someday. Boredom Era asked, we know you collect horror movies, but is there anything else that you collect or want to start collecting that is horror related? And congrats, thank you. Yes, I actually collect shot glasses. I wish I could show you, but they're actually back home at my parents' house right now. I just couldn't really justify bringing them down here. I don't really have a use for them right now. But eventually my dream is to have like a movie theater in my house and have a bar in the back of the movie theater and put all my shot glasses from all over the world on display. Because my dad used to travel a lot for his job before the pandemic and everything, and he would get me shot glasses from like almost every major city in the US. He used used to travel to China for his job. I have some shot glasses from China. I have a ton from when I went to Europe, from when I went to Costa Rica, from Mexico. I have them from like all over the world, and so I'm gonna continue to collect those. The most recent one that I got was from the Stanley Hotel, actually in Colorado, so the last one I got was actually horror themed. It says Red Rum on it. As far as collecting other horror related stuff, I don't really have plans to do that because I feel like my aesthetic for like my house and stuff is pretty minimalist. I don't actually enjoy owning a lot of stuff. Besides movies, that's literally the only thing that I'm okay with owning excessive amounts of. Just because like being really young, I'm only 21. My living situation is never super stable. Like I'll be in one place for maybe 2 or 3 years at a time, like at the most. So I just don't want to be tied down by too much stuff. But also maybe in the future, I think one thing that I would like to collect is maybe like classic horror film posters. That's something that I'm definitely interested in and would want to display in my house. Joe Pizza Pie, nice name, asked, would you ever do a kind of fixing this movie type of thing where you sort of change around a movie that disappointed you and try to make it better? I feel like I kind of do that with a lot of the movies that I review that I don't like, because I really break them down and I get into why I didn't like, you know, the parts of the movie that I didn't like. And oftentimes I do give suggestions on what I think would make it better. So I don't know if I would ever dedicate an entire series to doing that, but I might make that more of an emphasis in my reviews. How old are you and when did you start collecting movies? Like I mentioned, I am 21 and I started collecting movies I think like back in high school. I think I was a senior in high school, and that was when I really first started to acquire movies and actively tried to get all the movies that I loved on like physical media. Favorite film and book in the Harry Potter movies minus Prisoner of Azkaban. Honestly, me too. Like Prisoner of Azkaban, that movie is such a happy place for me. It is such a comfort zone. I don't even know how many times I've watched that movie. I love it so much. I am getting ready to rewatch all of them, probably starting in January, and it'll be interesting to see how I feel about them now. I don't think I've rewatched all of them for it's probably been like 2 years, because I think I showed them to my boyfriend when we first started dating, and that was over 2 years ago. So I'm absolutely due for a rewatch. I used to rewatch those movies like every single year, but definitely stay tuned for my Harry Potter series because that's coming at some point, and maybe that answer will change. I'm not sure. As far as books go though, I think that one, or the fifth one is really good too though, because in the fifth one we have Sassy Harry, which we don't really see that much of in the movie. Oh, I don't know. I'd have to reread those books too. Oh my goodness. Bobby asked, what would you say has been your favorite decade for movies? That is really tough. I feel like most of my favorite movies have come out of the early 2000s or the 2010s. This is kind of iffy though, because the 2010s are very hit or miss for me, and then the early 2000s is also kind of riddled with a layer of cheesiness that's just kind of ever present. So it's hard for me to like choose just one. And obviously I want to say older decades just because that's where a lot of the classics come from that I really love. But honestly, in each decade of the past like 60s, 70s, 80s, there's really only a couple movies that I can pick out that I really truly love. So I can't really say that those decades are my favorite. I think I'm gonna go with early 2000s. Because that had the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, that had House of Wax, that had Final Destination. I don't know, I feel like after I kind of complete the era on my channel where I cover all the major franchises in horror, I will have a better answer for you on that. Have you ever watched any of the Alien movies? If not, I highly recommend it. Yes, amazing movies. I definitely am going to do an Alien series on this channel at some point, I guarantee it. If you could only watch 3 horror movies for the rest of your life, what would they be? Ooh. I think The Ring. I mean, that's, you know, Halloween. I never get tired of rewatching that one. And maybe, oh, I want to say maybe Scream, but like, tell me why I want to say House of Wax. That's too hard, you know what? That's too hard. And their last question, any genre of film that you just can't get into? I feel like the obvious answer is like torture porn. Most people I feel like are just not really into that. Other than that, I'm trying to think. I feel like I could really get into it with subgenres. I think there are a lot of really unnecessary subgenres. I guess my least favorite genre would maybe be like drama movies. And I don't mean drama movies like Little Women and stuff like that, because I love those, but drama movies where most of the time you just kind of feel sad. Have you seen Gretel and Hansel and Blackcoat's Daughter, 2 films by Oz Perkins, and did I like them? Yes, Gretel and Hansel was one of my favorite movies of this year. I thought it was amazing. amazing, just beautifully artistic. It was wonderful. I haven't seen the other one, but now you have my interest. What's your favorite horror film so far to come out of 2020, or even your favorite film? I think my favorite of this year has probably been Invisible Man, although my dad and I are gonna watch all 4 of the Welcome to Blumhouse movies that came out just a couple of months ago, because I haven't seen any of those yet, so I'm gonna hold off on giving you a firm answer, but so far it is in The Invisible Man. Besides HorrorTube, what other YouTube communities are you into? Like, I'm into tiny home and people living in their cars. That's cool. Tiny homes are really interesting to me. To be honest, one community that I love on YouTube are drama channels. My favorites are Adam McClain, or I don't know, I'm saying his name wrong. It's something like that. Amanda BB, As Told by Kenya, Smoky Glow, those are some of my favorite YouTubers because I'm really not interested in mainstream YouTubers and their content, but I love hearing about the mess that they get themselves into. And of course, I'm like interested in keeping terrible people accountable for their terrible actions. So I really appreciate drama channels because it's not just them complaining or just like, oh, drama, blah, blah, blah. They're actually like holding these people accountable, and it's really interesting for me to watch. And I love the show Hot Ones. That's just a great show on YouTube. And then I also like content creators like Cody Ko is the boy. I love Drew Gooden. So I guess I just really like commentary. That all kind of falls under commentary. One of my favorite YouTubers is also Sarah Hawkinson. She also has a horror channel and a lifestyle channel. She makes great content. So yeah, all kinds of stuff. Who would you say are your top 3 actresses and top 3 actors? Ooh. Okay. This is hard. Okay. Top actors, I'm gonna say Jake Johnson from New Girl. I have not seen comedic timing and just comedic performances in the likes that he delivers, honestly. I'm gonna say Jake Johnson is one of my favorites. Johnny Depp is one of my favorite actors of all time. He is so wonderfully weird, so strange, just brings an immaculate energy to whatever role he has. What up? I'm editing right now, and to be real honest with you guys, some new stuff has come up in the whole like Johnny Depp Amber Heard case that's just, it's swayed my opinion of the situation slightly, and there are always 2 sides to every story, so this one is a little bit iffy for me right now just because I've seen some things. There have been some alleged accusations that don't make Mr. Depp look too good, so I'm gonna go ahead and replace him with Nicolas Cage. He's the man. Nicolas Cage, honestly, he deserves a spot on my top 3 actors list. So it works out. It works out. Who else? Oh my gosh, this is hard. I guess I want to say Daniel Radcliffe because, I mean, just not only because of like Harry Potter, but all these other oddball films that he's done and just him as a person. I really respect him. So I'm gonna go with Daniel Radcliffe. As far as actresses, I want to say Florence Pugh. Talent. I think Lupita Nyong'o. The talent this woman has. She can really embody the essence of whatever genre she needs to. She can do comedy, she can obviously do horror, she can do drama. Anything she does, she's so talented at. And I think I want to say Jamie Lee Curtis, not only because of the work that she's done in horror, but because of her work in comedy. She is so funny. I wish there were more comedy movies with her because she's hilarious. I hope she does more comedy in her lifetime. So yeah, there's my answer. Have you ever met an actor or actress in real life, and how was your experience? Yes, several. I think I'm actually gonna make that a separate video because I have too many stories and my camera battery is dying right now. Do you think Scream in 2022 will be the best one out of the franchise, and any thoughts on what a good first tattoo can be? Don't think too hard about your first tattoo. Obviously it is permanent. It's something that you should love and want to have on your body forever. But this was my first tattoo. It's the Deathly Hallows symbol. I didn't really think too much about it. One night I was with my cousin and I was like, we should get tattoos. She was like, yeah, we should get tattoos. And then the next day we literally just went and this is what we got. So I know that people are like, they have to have meaning and be deep and be sentimental to you. They really don't. Get what you want. It's your body. Like it's not that deep. Just get something that you like. I do recommend getting something small and getting it on a location that doesn't hurt very bad. This is a really good spot right here. I have one on my wrist. I can't, the angle is difficult to show you. This is a good spot. This doesn't hurt at all. It hurts a little bit when they get closer to the bone, but you can barely feel this spot right here. So I recommend that as a good first spot. As far as Scream goes, no, I don't think it's gonna be the best one in the franchise, but I am really hopeful for it. I think it's gonna be good. Hey, will you consider reviewing the Saw series? That's my favorite horror franchise ever. Yes, I am planning on doing that definitely in 2021. Hopefully within the next couple months, actually. Have you ever dealt with any creepy comments since starting YouTube? Yes. It got to the point where I had to mute the word woman and women in my comment section. So now if you ever use the word woman in a comment, it goes to a place where I have to like filter the comments out and like approve of them, just because like I'm not really like, I know that you guys think it's a compliment when you comment below and you're like, wow, you're a gorgeous woman or whatever, but like honestly it just kind of like makes me uncomfortable. Like I'm not really like, that's not what I want. But I was getting too many comments from like older men just being like sexy woman blah blah. I was like, it's enough of that. I also get that in my DMs on Instagram sometimes, or like men will just flat out say, hey, can we be friends? I know that you guys feel like you know me because I talk to you 3 times a week. You see me a lot and I talk to you a lot, but you guys have to keep it in perspective that like I'm talking to a camera. I really don't know you guys. So it is a little bit weird and uncomfortable for me when people just like ask, hey, can we be friends? I really want to foster a community on my channel. I really want to like see all your comments down below and interact with you like publicly, like on my YouTube. But in the DMs, it's just kind of like, it's just a little bit weird. That being said though, like if you ever want to share something with me from social media, like if you think there's like a tweet that you thought was funny or like an Instagram post that you thought was really cool, definitely feel free to DM me, stuff like that. And of course, like feel free to respond to my stories whenever that's appropriate, like if I ask questions or, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, so I'm sorry if you've made a comment that was like perfectly appropriate, but it didn't show up right away because it went to my filtration system. It's not your fault. But yeah, so now you're more aware of that. Who is your favorite director? Oh. That is really hard to say. I don't have a favorite director really. I really like Steven Spielberg. Like I love Steven Spielberg because I love action movies. Obviously he did like Jaws and Jurassic Park and Indiana Jones, which I love. So he's done a lot of really great stuff that I like. Artistically, I love the work of Ari Aster. I have a feeling that he is going to produce a lot more movies that I really love, but I don't really have like one set favorite director. Favorite TV shows. I am gonna have to make another video covering all my favorite TV shows because a ton of them are actually on Netflix, so I will answer that someday. Favorite bands or musicians? Oh my gosh, too many. I have too many. Like just to like rattle some off, my favorite band of all time probably is the Magic City Hippies. Highly recommend. Or Vista Kicks. Vista Kicks are amazing as well. Highly underrated. You know what? I will just link down below a couple of my Spotify playlists so you can kind of explore the stuff that I'm into because I love music. It is a very big part of my life. It is very much how I found myself in my current relationship. We just bonded over the music that we love, and I love sharing music, so definitely check out my Spotify playlists. If horror didn't exist, what would be your favorite genre? Ooh, probably action. I love comedy, but definitely action because action movies also oftentimes have a good deal of comedy in them because I'm such a sucker for like all those big franchises. Like I said, I love Indiana Jones, I love Star Wars, I love the Kingsman movies, I love Back to the Future, I love Harry Potter. So yeah, I think I want to say action. What's your zodiac sign? I am a Cancer. So where are my fellow crabs at? Favorite movie soundtrack of all time? I think that would probably have to go to Back to the Future. I love the soundtrack of Halloween, so iconic, but I think Back to the Future. Yeah. I think it has to go to Back to the Future. Are you religious? No. No. I do consider myself to be spiritual, but I don't believe in like any one like religion. I don't really subscribe to any like one set of beliefs, you know what I mean? I'm just spiritual in that like I believe that things happen for a reason. I feel very connected to like the universe, the earth. I don't really believe in individualism. I think that humanity should work as a collective, like with the earth, and live sustainably and like help one another and things like that. So I just consider myself to be more spiritual than anything else. Pancakes or waffles? Both delicious, but I feel like I want to say waffles just because like they come with those little squares where you can like put your toppings and they kind of just are perfect little bite-sized moments there. I think I want to say waffles. All right, I think I'm gonna wrap it up with this last question. Do you think politics should have any place in horror? Yes, absolutely. There's a lot to be explored with that, especially in a world where politics influence people's lives so much. There is a lot of horror involved with that. Perfect example of this would be Get Out, because things like race and classism, all of that has unfortunately become very political in the current world that we live in, and I think that the commentary that Jordan Peele makes is just, it's wonderful. So the answer answer is yes. That's kind of a loaded question though. I feel like that's something I could get more into like as a topic in and of itself, maybe in a separate video. Could title it like politics and horror or something like that, because I did take an entire course that was called Politics in Cinema, so I have a lot of knowledge to share concerning that, so I would be interested in making that video if you guys want that. But yeah, that concludes this Q&A. I'm so happy that you joined me, and if you stuck it out till the end, thank you so much. Also, thank you to every one of you that left a question and consistently leave comments. I do recognize a lot of your guys' names, and you guys are really the reason why my channel has grown, because you give my content engagement and stuff. All those comments really help so much, like you have no idea. And like I said, doing YouTube at least part-time is one of my dreams, and so you guys are kind of, you know, making that happen for me, and I can't thank you enough. I did recently do that giveaway, and I hope that I could do another one in the near future, just because like I really want to be able to give back to you guys. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for 2,000 subscribers. Let me know what you want me to do when I hit 3,000, if you want another special or another Q&A or something like that. I am all ears for your ideas. If you're new here, I do post 3 days a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I also have a vlog channel if you want to check out some of my other miscellaneous content. If you want to follow me on social media, all of that will be linked down below. I am on basically every platform. As always, check out those petitions and the sources linked down below. I update those every single week. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope I catch you in the next one. Bye! Oh my god, it's like dark out now. It's like 5 p.m.